This is beneath the dignity of a person serving in the Congress of the United States and is a cause for trauma and fear among members, especially on the heels of an insurrection on which the minority in the committee yesterday denied ever happened.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi suggesting the House Ethics Committee should look into Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene for her alleged verbal assault of Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in the halls of the U.S. Capitol complex. A since-deleted Facebook Live post from 2019, preserved by CNN's K-File, shows this week's incident isn't actually the first time that Greene has targeted Ocasio-Cortez. Let's listen.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I'm an American citizen. I pay your salary through the taxes that you collect from me through the IRS. I'm a woman, I'm a female business owner, and I'm proud to be an American woman. And I do not support your socialist policies. If you want to be a big girl, you need to get rid of your diaper and come out and be able to talk to the American citizens instead of us having to use a flap, a little flap.
It's kind of like hers. It's kind of
sad.
Let's talk about this now with Virginia Democratic Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger, who is a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
What is your response, Congresswoman, to what is clearly a pattern here, and most recently Marjorie Taylor Greene verbally accosting and running after your colleague, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, in the halls of Congress?
Well, Brianna, I think we have to look at it within the context of the interview you just had. You had Officer Dunn recounting his experiences on January 6th, talking about what it continues to be like to work in a crime scene. And he said, we're going to continue to do our job. It's our responsibility. We'll continue to do our job. And that level of decency and commitment and leadership is what we should expect of every person who works in the United States Capitol, members of Congress, Capitol Police, and staff across the board. And for a representative of Virginia, where we're dealing with the crisis caused by the Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack, where my constituents are worried, deeply, deeply worried about how to get to work and how to get their kids to school. And in the middle of an ongoing pandemic, though there's bright light at the end of the tunnel, the fact that there would be a legislator focused on taunting and harassing another member of Congress when we should be governing and demonstrating the leadership like Officer Dunn demonstrated in his interview and certainly demonstrated on the day of the insurrection. I have nothing but disappointment for the negative example that we continue to see from particular members of Congress.
Do you think an ethics investigation and ethics action would do anything? I mean, she just seems basically emboldened by having her committee assignment stripped.
I think that the American people should expect that every lawmaker who is sent here to govern is focused on governing. The sad reality is that there are a few who are not. And I hope that her voters will hold her accountable for what she does or doesn't deliver on their behalf. And I think that, unfortunately, what we're seeing is just an ongoing trend of people who want to be celebrities more than they want to govern.